perfected it and it's evolved. But in terms of the presentation, some of the poses, right? When they say, gentlemen, your most classic pose, and you hit those classic poses, that's something, an art form that you gain an appreciation for?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fun thing of classic physique is that classic pose we get to hit, where it's your opportunity to show off your strong points and everybody to do the same. So if you don't know what poses work best for you and how to hit it perfectly, you're gonna lose. You know, and some of the judges have done a breakdown of the things, and if you're a good competitor and you hit that classic pose and you're showing some of your weak points rather than your strengths, they'll start to dock you down for it because they know it. So it's a little bit more thinking that comes into it. And I mean, classic physique, in my opinion, when I think of like classic and golden era, and even just in general life back in the 70s, 80s, there was a bit more of a polished respect to the way you carried yourself as an individual. You know, it wasn't just like you're a gym bro back then. A lot of these bodybuilders were intelligent, like philosophers almost of their kind. They were very respectful, you know, clean cut. You know, that's why I always shave my beard on stage and I have the mustache, because it's a cleaner look than the beard I have in my off season. And everything is just an overall polished look that you have, the way you present yourself, being a respectful, mature man. And I think it's something that honestly, like our whole society has kind of missed. And I love translating that it's more than just the physique you have on stage. It's the way that people see you, of how you presented yourself all year leading up to stage, what they feel when they see you up there, the emotion, the confidence you have when you're standing up there. There's a lot that goes into it that subconsciously most people may not even notice, but they feel when they see you up there.
I think one thing that everybody in this room can relate to, we talk about, you know, your social media presence, and obviously with the championships comes fame, comes popularity, but you've maintained this air of humility, and I think that's something that everybody in this room can relate to. But you said something very profound, because I think back to this past Olympia and the speech that you delivered, the victory speech that you delivered, and it hit me right there and then. You have not only grown up in front of us as a champion, but you've grown up as a public speaker, and I feel as if you're able to really tie a lot of emotions as far as allowing us all to relate to your prep, the challenges behind the prep, the challenge behind not only maintaining your level of your championship, but to continue to better yourself. Obviously, we talk about the competition that's nipping at your heels now, the Boris Calisthenics, the Ramon Dinas, but then you reflect upon that, saying that you only really have yourself to compete against. But how do you feel as if you've matured during this process, and what have you learned that has allowed you to better carry yourself and present yourself?
I mean, if I was telling you everything I learned, we'd be here for a lot longer than 2 hours. But in part of what you said there, and you said I allow people to come along this journey of the emotions that I feel, and I share that, I think something that I learned on this journey was to allow myself to feel those emotions. And in doing so, I showed those to the people who followed me along my journey. Because that's what I really tried to do with my social media and competing, was to share like the authentic journey behind the scenes of what's going on in my mind. And when I was younger and I would go through hard times, I was very much an introverted, quiet kid, and my parents taught me a lot of independence, and while that was great, it also led me to holding in a lot of my emotion rather than allowing to express it outward. And that's what leads to serious anxiety and potential depression in the future, and a lot more like angst in the body, because you're holding it all in rather than letting it out and expressing it. And I think a lot of men have similar struggles as such, and I know a lot of other bodybuilders that do too. So along my journey, I started to go through some difficult times in prep or with life, and I would suppress it all, and I realized one year, 2018, I had done such, 2019, and I won the Olympia, and I didn't even really enjoy it that much on stage. I felt like something was wrong. Like I felt just relieved it was over, rather than grateful it was happening. And I've realized that was because so much of my journey, I was so stressed out, and I was suppressing that stress rather than allowing it up. So what I said in my speech was, when you numb the bad, you also numb the good. So in the process of my Olympia, of allowing myself to feel the emotions throughout my life, I realized in 2020, when I'd processed a lot more of stuff that was going on in my life, I enjoyed the win a lot more too. And it allowed me to be more expressive in my speech, and people could see this difference of the growth in myself. And it was making me a better bodybuilder as well, because I had less pressure on my heart inside me, and allowed me to perform more confidently. So I think the biggest thing I've learned was just allowing myself to feel my emotion, to express it outward, not worry about being judged for being a man who's crying or a bodybuilder, that, because everyone go through shit, and I know I have people behind me who are going to support me and love me regardless of what people on the outside think. So that gave me strength, and it's allowed me to share a lot of my journey, which I think people have been able to connect with me more so than just my physical physique. And it's been fun. I've been trying to share the best that I can the process of my own growth.